Hey guys, Red the Nerd here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series R2D2. Now, this is my second Star Wars Black Series figure that I own in my collection. If you remember a couple months ago, I think maybe last year around there, I did a review of the Battle Droid Black Series figure, promoting the new Star Wars game that was coming out around that time. Jedi Last Survivor, I think it is. And that was my first Black Series figure, and it really elevated my opinion about Black Series, about how high quality their figures are. And I've always wanted to get my hands on, Black Series figures. Like I mentioned in my last review, I really wanted to get the Chopper Black Series figure. And I actually got this figure during Black Friday. It was not on a discount for some reason. EB Games, they didn't do discounts, for some reason during Black Friday. I mean, they probably did mostly for the games, but for the figures, not really. This was about $30. It was technically $33 with my Edge card. And to be fair, this is actually a little bit cheaper than the Battle Droid one. The Battle Droid was about $40, $50, mostly because it had a fancy sticker on it, and it was promoting the new game and everything. But yeah, so as you can clearly see on the back here, it says, on the front, it says R2D2, and if you want to know how to spell R2D2 without the numbers and letters, you can just spell it with just letters, so that's cool. Then you can see Star Wars The Mandalorian. For some reason, I'll get more into more of why this is so dumb when we actually take a look at the figure, but for right now, just keep that in mind. On the side of the box here, you can see R2 right there, and then on the other side, there's no other side, it's just the packaging, and then also right here, then you can see another picture of R2, and then if you look up here, then you got some read up, so if you want to pause that and read that, go for it. But other than that, that's going to do it for the box, so let's take a look at the actual figure. So here is R2, and this is a fantastic figure. I love how they portrayed this figure in the Black Series form. And this is going to be kind of a little bit risque, because especially when talking about this figure being a really good R2 figure for the Black Series figure, it's kind of not really Jesus, what's the word? Truthful, I guess, because the reason why I told you to keep the Star Wars The Mandalorian on the packaging in mind is because this is not the only Black Series R2 figure that there is. This is from the Mandalorian series, which R2 literally made a cameo, and that was pretty much it. But for some reason, Hasbro, or the people that made the Black Series figures, it is Hasbro, but for some reason they decided to make a lot of R2 figures for Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. Just every single version and just movie that R2 appears in, they have made a figure about it. I don't know what that is. That's really stupid. And the only difference I can really tell from this figure and the other clones of R2 that they're selling, is mostly to do with the size. This is, I think, the biggest one that they've released, what I've seen. This is probably the tallest one. The one from, God, I can't remember, Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi. That figure is half the size of this one. And people were complaining about the size of it, so they're like, you know what, screw it, let's just release a crap ton of them. And this is the one that I've seen where it's just in the regular Black Series packaging, where, you got the tall box and you can see the window and everything. The one for, I think, I can't remember, but the first one came with, the old Kenner back to it, which that was pretty cool. But that's pretty much the only difference from this figure and the only others ones. It's the size and, I guess, the accessories, which is kind of stupid because the amount of accessories that you get with this guy is pretty much the exact same accessories that you get with all the other ones. But they just kind of switch and change, which I kind of find really stupid, because I think that they should have just released just this R2 and just called it, R2D2 from just Star Wars, and just include all the different accessories from all the other movies. You could have the jet boosters on the side of the legs here. keep all the other accessories that we're going to talk about with this figure, and then you could just add some more stuff to it. I just don't see why you need to, release a crap ton of other figures and then just make a different size and then just put accessories from that are just only minute to like one's movie, where you could just have one figure with all the other accessories from all the other movies combined. And I'm pretty sure that most people, especially Star Wars fans, won't really care about it, because let's be real, if that actually happened, it would probably boost the price of this figure up a little bit more, probably to like $50 or $60, depending on the amount of accessories that they would have had, if they take my advice. But even then, I really don't see why, it won't bother me, or other Star Wars fans, because let's face it, Star Wars fans, they'll literally buy like $2,000 lightsabers, or even like $5,000 lightsabers that are really high quality. So I don't see why that they wouldn't just, have one R2 figure and then just, put the other accessories. Oh, by the way, just want to mention that another difference between this figure and the other figures is that this one's a little bit more lighter white. It's a little bit, white than the other ones. The other ones are kind of like tan. Oh, and there's another one where he has like dirt on him and stuff. Like, yeah, okay, cool. That's amazing. I don't know what this is. It's like EA all over again, which would make sense because EA did the Star Wars Battlefront. So it would make sense that they would do that. But anyway, enough talking about, the weird, 20 million duplicates of this exact figure. Let's actually take a look at the actual figure itself. Like I mentioned before, this is probably one of my favorite Black Series figures that I own, even though this is literally the second one. And I just really, really like how this figure looks. He's beefy, he's chunky, and his proportions are really well done. It's kind of hard to do proportions, especially on R2 figures. They usually get, like, the legs a little bit too long, or the body's a little bit too, like, thick, or, like, not. This is a perfect, like, good, looking R2 figure that I own. So taking a look at him, you could see the amazing paint job on him. He is such a good paint job. The ugly crease is not too noticeable. Oh, Jesus, excuse me. The crease on the side of the head here is not too noticeable. The paint on the different lights and dials and everything are really nice as well. You can even see the top of his head looks really nice. And then on the front of the head, you can see his little lens there that is really nice and glossy to give it that kind of camera look effect. And then you can also see his little projector there, little beep boop thing there, that changes colors. Very nice. The paint job on here is very durable, which it should be. And also there's no paint mishaps that I can see on this figure. I mean, there's one paint mishap on the accessory, but we'll take a look at that when we actually take a look at that. Even on the wires on his legs are really nicely done. And they're elevated off the ground a little bit, so they're not going to be rubbing on like the shelves or anything. So that's good. And then you can see more details on the front of the legs there. And then you can see his little pistons and stuff like that. On the back here, you can see more storage compartments that don't actually open. They're just there. And then you can see some more like vents and this little thing on the back here. And he doesn't have actual functioning wheels, sadly. I wouldn't mind if he actually had little wheels. They're just sculpted in, so he can't actually roll. But yeah, very, very nice. And then you can see more silver paint on the side here. For the little vent exhaust things, and then you can see these little things there, but we'll take a look at that in a bit. So for articulation, for the head here, the head can 360 rotate, which you would expect from an R2 figure. The legs there, they're just on a rotation, so they can rotate all the way around, and the feet are on hinge joints as well, so you can articulate them. So if you want to get them, back like that. If you're wondering, where's this third leg? It's just down here. And actually, believe it or not, you just pull the leg out like so, and then this is also articulated. There's no rotation or anything. So then you can get that three-legged R2 pose there. And another difference from this figure from the others is that I don't remember if it's just all of them, but they had that feature that you would rotate his head and his leg would pop out. But here you just grab it with your dirty fingernails and then you just pull it out like so. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just have this on hand. I had to dig through my several different toy bins to try to find this guy. This is a very old R2 figure that I had for a very long time. You can clearly see how dirty it is, and he's got shit on his metal ass. Like, he's been through hell and back. But the reason why I pulled him out of my toy bin to show you guys is because if you don't know what I'm talking about when you spin your head, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But just in case if you don't, you would just rotate his head, and the foot would dispense from the bottom here when you rotate the head. But the difference between that and, you know, this foot here is because when you rotate it, it's sometimes you just get, you know, you kind of have to break his head to try to get his leg fully out, and if you want it to face it forward, and then you just kind of twist his head back and stuff like that, and it makes that really ugly creasing sound. They did that feature on one of the Black Series R2 figures, and they got rid of it because it was just... Because if you notice, it's just like, when you rotate the head to try to get the leg out, his head's going to go like that, pretty much. And then you have to kind of break, not really break it, but just kind of force his head to go forward. And that just it just feels awful. It just doesn't really work all that well for a functioning figure. So I'm glad that they actually did this instead of this swivel bit. So I'm going to go put him back in my toy bin. So he just goes over there for now. So let's take a look at the accessories here. So he's got, let's see here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 accessories here. Let me just put my camera down here. So taking a look at his accessories here. He's got his little radar dish from what he used in the Empire Strikes Back, and also in the Clone Wars as well. You can see the little kind of detail in the actual dish itself. And then you could see some wires going through there as well. And then it's just got some black paint there. Everything, basically all the accessories are just, you know, gray plastic. And they are a little bit flimsy as well. So when you're actually plugging these things into him, I'll show you that in a minute. But just be careful when you're plugging them in. And then you have his little camera there. This is probably my favorite accessory because it just looks the nicest. Then you can see, you know, the little blue thing that goes on top of his head there. You can see the lenses on there as well. And then you can see a little cord going through there that isn't painted. And this is actually the thickest one so far. So it's not going to snap anytime soon. So just be careful. Then he's got this little claw. Well, it's not really claw. I don't really know what this is. So I think this might be a zapper. I think this might be a zapper that he uses in one of the movies or the Clone Wars. I can't remember. But yeah, he's got his little zapper there. Nice detail on it, but like yet again, no paint on it. Then he's got an actual functioning claw there, that he has been seen with the most. You got the little claw, it doesn't articulate or anything. No paint yet again. And then he's got his little, sonic screwdriver, I guess. And this is the, you know, thing that he uses to like unlock doors and stuff like that. This is the tool that people associate with him the most and people really recognize, even though they have no idea what the hell it is. And then you can see that the paint on here, the copper paint on there is scratched up. And then there's some like on the actual like handle. I don't know where it is. It should be somewhere. Okay, well, I don't know where it is, but it's along here. There's like some paint mishaps and everything like that. So not really great paint on this one. So I don't know if this is like that for all the figures, or this is just my copy, but that just looks terrible. I just don't like that. Then for the final accessory, he's got a blowtorch here. Very nice as well. Just painted black. Nothing too special about it. It's just a blowtorch. Sadly, no jet boosters on the side of his legs there. But anyway, let me show you how I attach them. So for these accessories here, the little claws and the sonic screwdriver and everything, you can actually flip open these panels here. You just kind of have to get your nails in there. It's kind of better if you do this. You just kind of have to get it in there. Come on. Come on. Get in there, stupid. Here, let me just show you on this one, because this one's better. Okay, why is... Usually... There we go. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, you just open these little panels here. Jesus Christ, open this panel! Open this damn panel! There we go, Jesus. There it is. So you can open the panels and then you can see some more interior detail there. And there's 3 holes there. So you can literally plug any of these in here. So you can plug the blower toad. Oh my god. Blower. Blowtorch in the bottom, the middle, or the top on this one or on this one. But if you want to go for, Canon accuracy, you got the claw on the top here, and then this little zapper thing on the bottom, sonic screwdriver on the top, and blowtorch on the bottom. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of plug it in there. It doesn't like to go all the way in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can open the panels, and that's pretty much it. For how to get these, the camera and the antenna, you just want to pull these 2 top parts of his head off. They don't really go in any order. You can really just plug them off and put them back in. So be careful with these because these are tiny, and if you lose them, then you're just going to have a gaping hole in his head. So you can plug the radar dish here, and then the camera there, and then there you go. Now you have R2 with his camera and his radar. Oh, stay up, camera. So you can see that there. Pretty awesome. The amount of accessories that you do get, I'm happy with, but like I said before, it would have been better if they just included multiple accessories in just one figure instead of just coming out with 20 million ones that have the exact same accessories or just smaller with different paint jobs. It's really stupid, in my opinion. But what you get for this figure in particular, oh, I forgot to mention, you can actually open these little doodads here. You're just going to have to get your fingers in there. Pry it open. There you go. You're going to have to get your fingernail in that groove and then open these little up. There you go. And you can see his little, little things there. So there's like more, they're in the show and just in the movies in general, there's supposed to be like little claws that come out of these little things. But he doesn't come with that and they don't come out. So that's just that. But like I was saying, the amount of accessories that you do get with this particular figure, and also, you get the foot that you can actually pull out manually instead of just rotating it, is actually not too bad. For $30 Canadian, it's actually not that bad. I honestly highly recommend getting this figure in particular, just for the amount of, the size and the actual foot coming out of everything. And there's nothing really to say about the articulation. It's pretty standard. He's not like hyper articulated. He just has, basic, swivels and rotations and everything like that because he is just a droid. He can't really, articulate and stuff like that. It would have been cool to see articulation on the actual claws and stuff like that, but I'm just being a little too nitpicky at this point. But other than that, I highly recommend getting this figure for your collection. He's a pretty good size. He's not too tiny like the other ones. He fits on your shelf really nice, and the amount of, accessories, you can customize it and stuff like that. And if you have the other figures, you can also switch and mishmash and stuff like that. So it gives you the opportunity for that. Paint job is also really nice as well, high quality. But other than that, that's going to do for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what you do, but guess what time it is. So, bye, guys.